Welcome to the Long Island Sound Podcast, where we explore the muse and the music, from the North Shore to the South Shore, from New York City to the Hamptons, navigating the wellspring of original music from singer-songwriters and musicians from Long Island, New York. Hi, I'm Steve Yusko from GigDestiny.com. Stay tuned as we explore the Long Island Sound. Country music fans are in for a real treat on the Long Island Sound episode. Meet Charlie Kulis. He has some fantastic upbeat music that you're really going to enjoy. But most of all, his backstory is absolutely unbelievable. So come and get you some.
Summer's back, Georgia down to Texas. Rich girls wanna have a little fun. Suntan, driving daddy's Lexus, tops down. Come and get you some. Come and get you some. Off-road, way out in the backwoods. Red clay, Louisiana mud, NASCAR, Oklahoma tractors. Big wheels turn. Come and get you. Guitars echo from the hillsides. Just folks playing what they love. Brass cups of old Kentucky moonshine. White lightning. Come and get you some. Hard slide is murder on the lefties. Fly balls drifting in the sun. Big man swinging for the fences. Game on now. Come and get you. Short ribs cooking in the smoker. Grilled steaks, hot links on a bun. Fish fries, turn them burgers over. Poor boys and gumbo. Come and get you. Guitars echo from the hillsides. Just folks playing what they love. Brass cups of old Kentucky moonshine. White lightning. Come and get you. Hey babe, climb on in. We're gonna take my truck for a midnight ride. Way back along the river, skinny dipping in the pale moonlight. Come and get you some. Guitars echo from the hillsides. Just folks playing what they love. Brass cups, old Kentucky moonshine. White lightning. Come and get you some. Come and get you some. A sweet, sweet summertime. Come and get you. Come and get you some.
When I first came across Charlie Kulis music, I thought he was a transplant from Nashville, but that couldn't be. People escape Long Island and then go to Nashville. Little did I know how much country music could gestate right here on Long Island. His music has a familiar grit of hardworking people looking for fun on the weekend. And who could argue with that? He has some fun-loving music, and I can't wait to uncover his backstory. Hey, welcome to the Long Island Sound Podcast, Charlie.
Nice to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure, and this episode is gonna make my wife so happy, because when I was playing your music, she says, "Find out where that guy's playing next."
Really?
She's a real country fan, you know.
Great.
It's like Donnie and Marie. I'm a little bit rock and roll, and she's a little bit country. If for those of you,
right.
For those of you who remember that show.
Yeah.
So give me some foundation as far as, were you from a musical family? You know, how did you pick up the instrument? How did that all come about for you?
Yeah, actually, I was from a very musical family. My mother and father actually sang harmony together. My father died when I was a little kid.
I'm sorry.
We were kind of poor. There were four kids, and my mother and her two brothers sang perfect harmony together. And whenever they got together, they were always singing. So this was always kind of in my ears, all this harmony. And when I was turned 13, one of my friends, my best friend, I'm still best friends with him. When I turned 13, my mom, we didn't have a lot of money. She spent $10 on a guitar. And
Wow.
I couldn't believe she spent $10 on a birthday present for me. And I picked up the guitar and kind of never put it down. It completely changed my life.
Wow. Now, you're originally from Long Island when, you know,
Actually from Maspeth, Queens.
oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
my whole family, my whole Polish side of the family is from Maspeth.
Really?
Off 64th Street and Grand Avenue, Grand Boulevard or Grand.
Grand Avenue. I was Fresh Pond Road in Flushing Avenue.
Oh, I know it well. I used to go to I used to go to dances at Polish National Hall,
Oh,
and to try to meet. I'm half Polish and half
Yeah.
Ukrainian, and try to meet the nice Polish girls. So you learn how to dance quick.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh, what a
Yeah.
nice discovery.
Yeah. So I started. My best friend Ron and I would practice singing and playing guitar after school every day. Taught ourselves how to sing harmony. And then I had another friend in college who could sing harmony. I got the three of us together, and we kind of did an acoustic thing for several years. We could sing perfect harmony. We could take any song. As soon as we started singing it, we knew what harmony parts we would take, and we just nailed it immediately. Then I did a recording of some original songs, and I did a slowed down version of Del Shannon's Runaway on an acoustic guitar, and we recorded that, and I sent it to an ad in the Village Voice.
Okay.
There were two producers looking for new talent, and they heard the tape, and they wanted to do Runaway. And we did Runaway, and almost had a deal on it on Atlantic. And at the last minute, it was picked up by Playboy Records.
Ugh.
It was Hugh Hefner's company. And they had country hits, actually. And I was their first pop hit. So the song came out. It did quite well.
So you made it onto the label. The label just bought.
Yeah, they bought
Okay.
the recording. Now, the two guys who produced it were John Miller and Neil Portnow. Now, I don't know if you know the name Neil Portnow.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, I'll get into that in a minute. But
Oh, sure.
but we had a minor hit with it. I think it made to like 37 in the top 40 charts. Was number one in Billings, Montana.
Nice.
Top 10 in Chicago. It was getting airplay all around the country. I did American Bandstand. I was on American Bandstand. Lip synced it.
Come on.
I am not kidding you. I was on with the Captain and Tennille. It was their first hit was coming up the charts, and my song has already charted and was on its way down. And I kind of lost contact with Neil and John, and had all kinds of original bands together throughout the years, doing all kinds of mostly rock stuff. And Neil Portnow went on to run the Grammys for 17 years.
Oh, okay. That's yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm still in touch with Neil. I know he got a lot of bad press at one point, but Neil is actually a great guy, a really kind, sweet guy. And John Miller is also a great guy. I reconnected with John Miller back in the like around 2012, believe it or not. And we started working on a country project.
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing all these country kind of based songs. I'd always had an interest in country from the 80s on. I was interested in the players were great. The songs were great. I liked a lot of the lyrics. So it was kind of a natural transition for me, and started writing songs in that vein for this whole country project. John was the executive producer. I worked at a place at a great studio in South Huntington, Parcheesi Studios.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yep.
Run by Bob Stander.
Hmm.
We had some great players on it. Sean Murray, who's a great drummer, and Steve Holly from Wings. He played on some of the cuts. Um, and Paul Errico on keyboards. Bob Stander played guitar and bass. Teddy Kumpfel was on some guitar, tracks, solos, and then a great steel player named John Widgren, who's from up in Connecticut. So we did all of those songs, and I signed a publishing deal with John's publishing company, and now we're trying to get the songs out there.
Let me reel you back just a little bit, because a couple of
Sure.
things struck me in, you spoke about your mom, and struggling, right? Your father passed away, and she
Yeah.
spent $10 on a guitar,
Yeah.
which was probably a lot of money,
Yep.
when you were a young man.
Yeah.
But what I find exciting and amazing is when you recognize the sacrifices your parents make for knowing your interest, or maybe helping you discover your skills and your talent. I think it just makes you work harder because you value that so much. It's I really think it's a beautiful thing. And then
Yeah.
the other thing, it's almost like a Cinderella story. I mean, you pick up the Village Voice, and you enter it in, and then it's like a roller coaster ride. Obviously, you've got the skills for it, but it's amazing what can strike gold when you just got to keep putting it out there and taking those
Right.
chances. So I just, that's just what kind of struck me listening to your story.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that was quite a story. Now I'll tell you a second part to that. What I was doing at that time when I had Runaway out, I was teaching in a Catholic school in
Okay.
Glendale, Queens. So I was on Playboy Records, which was Hugh Hefner's label. So I was working for the Pope and Hugh Hefner at the same time. I think I was the only guy in history that ever did that. So
so you had the Pope, the angel on one shoulder, and the devil on the other.
yeah. So it was a great time. Neil and I flew out to L.A. There was an article when Neil, after on his 10th anniversary of running the Grammys, he was interviewed, and he said that record changed his life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. One of the things that, for those who follow podcasts, is everyone you mentioned. I make chapter marks of what we're talking about. So
Okay.
if people want to, hey, who is this guy, and have an interest, they can hit the link in the chapter mark and find out more information about the people that we're talking about. So
Mhm.
that connection to the Grammys is kind of cool. I think I saw on Facebook, I think your daughter was working the red carpet for the Grammys as well.
My daughter was actually a fantastic classical pianist, and she went out to USC, much to my chagrin. I mean, she went out to USC because she hasn't come back, and she auditioned to get in their piano performance program, and she got in, and there's some YouTubes of her. She was just an incredible pianist. She's since no longer doing that, and she interned for the Grammys, and then got a job really of her own merit at Music Cares. So she works for Music Cares, and that picture of her was from the last Grammys. She was working the red carpet. She was actually assisting Joni Mitchell, who was being
Great.
honored by Music Cares. Yeah. So she's a
yeah,
great.
because Brandy Carlisle, who I'm a big fan of as well, was there, and she did the whole Blue album, which is just amazing. We saw Brandy Carlisle at Forest Hills last year, and it was what a great intimate first time I was at Forest Hills, if you can believe that. But it was really what a great place to see a show. So what did you teach when you were in Catholic school?
I taught everything. Just math. Let me say, I taught math, reading, social studies, science, whatever they wanted me to teach.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And then, so did you continue with the teaching career and parallel with music, or?
Yeah, I left after I had the hit with Runaway. I left teaching, and I put I always had a band together. Put a band together, drove a cab, things like that, and then got back into schools and stuff. And but I always had a band. In '87, I had a really good band together. We put out an EP on vinyl, 5 songs, and I hired a radio promo guy, and he had us on like 375 stations in the course of 3 weeks. And I ran out of money because it was $200 $200 a
The
week.
throw, yeah.
And what I should have done, because I had a fantastic band together back then, I should have just maxed out a credit card, but it never struck me that I should have done that to pay this guy, because we had Hawaii and the West Coast kind of locked up, and the band was really good enough to tour. Doug Schofield,
What was the name of the band at that time?
The Lights.
The Lights. Okay, yeah, I think I saw a video of that.
There was Doug Schofield on keyboards, who was also an excellent singer, and Mike DeCampo from down in Brooklyn, a great guitar player, Bob Caprero, a fantastic drummer who I still work with, and John Murphy on bass. And we were really excellent and had some really good tunes.
Now, who was the lead? Were you the lead singer in the video on the
Yeah.
Lights?
Always,
Yeah.
always.
I gotta tell you this, because it kind of struck me. Not that I have the best ears for music, although you see there are guitars behind me
Yes.
that I dust off every once in a while.
Right.
Brian Ferry, your voice, it had a quality of Brian Ferry for me, which is a big compliment, by the way.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. Yeah.
Thank you. It was just beautiful. So why don't we do this? Let's take a quick break.
Sure.
And I really want to delve into, because a lot of people who follow the podcast are up and coming singer-songwriters. And,
Sure.
I believe there's inspiration that we need to discover from you on how you did it and
Sure.
and how you brought about, quote, your own luck or your own breaks. So
Yeah.
hang with us, everybody, and we'll be right back. Hi, Steve Yusko from Gig Destiny here. Well, as you're probably listening to this podcast, you're probably thinking about that musician who would make a fantastic guest here on the Long Island Sound. Well, we'd like to hear their story. We'd like to hear their music. So have them reach out to us at gigdestiny.com and we'll explore their craft. Now, back to our podcast. Hey, everybody. We're back with Charlie Kulis. And Charlie, what is interesting to me, and I'm sure to our audience, especially the up-and-coming musicians and singer-songwriters, is, we can pigeonhole this and thumbnail it and say, hey, yeah, I wrote into the Village Voice and boom, I'm famous, and I got a record deal. But
Right.
tell me how you woodshedded that side of the business to get exposure.
Well, I think, people say this, you never give up. So I would take every opportunity of, the way I found you.
Mhm.
If I see some sort of opportunity, I go for it. I reach out to people. Somebody tells me a name and says they're looking for something. I'm always there, always reaching out. And I think that's one thing that you got to do. And I remember Johnny Carson one time said a long time ago, yeah, it takes luck, but you kind of make your own luck. And those words always stuck in my head. So you make your own luck in the sense that you always got to keep at it and keep trying new avenues, whatever opens up for you, whatever you see as an opportunity, keep trying and keep doing it, because you never know what's going to happen. I reconnected with John Miller because it was his birthday party and they wanted me to come and sing Runaway as a surprise. And from that came this whole project. Now, had I said, I'm too busy, I can't do it. But I jumped at the opportunity. And in fact, at that party, Neil Portnow introduced me when I sang Runaway.
Oh, that's great.
I think you just got to keep at it and keep trying. And like Johnny Carson said, you make your own luck by keeping at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'll give you our own backstory here. So Charlie reached out to me on Facebook. I put it out there. I look for guests. I'm to be honest with you, I feel very blessed. 3 months in, everyone I meet and that's on, will lead me to 2 or 3 people that they say, oh, this guy would make a great guest. Oh, he's got a great story. And we're meeting for the first time on Squadcast, which is the program we use. But, I think that's the way to do it. You put yourself out there and you don't say no. There's some things you have to say no to, but you have to make yourself available.
One other thing to keep in mind, you're talking about being persistent. I think I read somewhere that 17 record companies, turned down the Beatles. So, if they turned them down, you just keep at it. You never know. Like when I answered that ad in The Voice, I didn't know what was going to happen, but why not? What did it take?
Yeah. What was the effort? The effort is in honing your craft and recognizing you have a skill. The
Right.
harmonizing thing, I think, is the coolest thing, because when you come down to, I think the most beautiful instrument there is the voice.
Right.
And and when you're able to harmonize a cappella, whatever, man, you've got it down, and you can just add the spice to it as you go along, as they say.
Right.
So
Right.
there's always the questions. We're going to go into, so we heard, what did we hear the first time? We heard Come and Get You Some, which
Right.
was the introductory thing. And these are the songs, by the way, that blew my mind when you reached out to him. This guy's from Nashville. I mean, he can't be from Long Island. It's just like, no way,
Right.
Lo and
Right.
behold, you're from the
Right.
North Shore, and God bless you. It's great. So we heard that song,
Yeah.
and we're going to jump into Nothing at All. Tell me how that came about. Tell me
Yeah.
about, do you have a process? Do you plan to write a song? Does the music come to you? You know the drill.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Nothing at All was written with, the lyrics were written by a friend of mine, Ernie Petito, who I've been writing with for years. He lives out in LA. We've been, used to live in the city, but moved out to LA a while ago, and we communicate by emails. And I had, my music usually starts with a chord progression. I'll be playing on guitar or a keyboard. I'll be playing some sort of progression, a series of chords, and a melody will pop up in my head from the progression. I'll find it interesting, and I think I sent that melody to Ernie, and he put lyrics to the song. And there's actually a country version of that I did with John Miller. You happen to get that version, but I actually did a duet with a girl named Tabitha Fair. Now, Tabitha is a great vocalist and sings a great background singer. She works with everybody. She's down in Nashville now. Otherwise, I'd probably be working with her if she was up in New York. But she's down in Nashville now, and I see her all the time on TV singing backgrounds. But she's really just an excellent singer all around. Can sing perfect harmony. So that Nothing at All, there's two versions. The one you got is with me, with one set of lyrics, and then Ernie rewrote the lyrics for the duet, which I didn't send you. But that was a country version.
All right, so we'll have a link,
Yeah.
so people can hear the version that we have now on the podcast, and then they can jump to the other version on the link and compare and contrast and enjoy. So
Yeah.
let's take a listen to Nothing at All, and we'll be right back after the song. Check it out.
Brace yourself, here it comes. Our bravest allies deserted us, left us on this battlefield, staring over wooden shields at the greatest force assembled yet. Archers, catapults, and chariots, they trampled kingdoms to the ground, crushed their cities, burned them down like they were nothing, nothing at all, just like they were nothing, yeah, nothing at all, nothing at all. You said you'd help these folks rebuild. You promised them, but you never will. Can't admit to any wrong. Your lawyers settle, you shrug it off like it was nothing. Oh, nothing at all, just like it was nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. The gift of life and all its wonders fall into our hands. every word a crime. Not be angry all the time, act like it's nothing. Hey, nothing at all. Just act like it's nothing. Hey, nothing at all. Yeah, nothing at all. Just act like it's nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. Just act like it's nothing. Oh, nothing at all. Oh, why can't we just this once act like nothing offended us? Not make every word a crime. Not be angry all the time, act like it's nothing. Oh, nothing at all. Just act like it's nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. Just act like it's nothing. Nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. Yeah, act like it's nothing. Hey, nothing at all.
Hey, we're back, everybody. And while we took a break, Charlie and I started chatting away. And this happens a lot with guests. We get into like these great stories, and I'm like, hold on, save it for the podcast. So
Yeah.
we were talking about the time that you were on American Bandstand, and the question I had for Charlie was because he said he was interviewed by Dick Clark. I said, "What's Dick Clark like?" So tell me, what was Dick Clark like? How was it being on American Bandstand?
It was really. Oh, actually, I got paid. I made $325 on American Bandstand. I don't have the receipt anymore, but I should have saved it. So anyway, yeah, Dick Clark is exactly as he appeared on television. He was a really nice guy, cordial, very down to earth, very friendly. And as I was telling you, what I remember, we were in the green room with Dick Clark. It was me and Neil Portnow, and the captain and Tennille. And I think Dick Clark's son was about 10 or 11 years old. And what I remember in the green room, his son was shooting paper clips off of a rubber band all around the green room. But no, Dick Clark was a really, really good guy, really nice guy. And he told you exactly what was going to happen, what the interview was going to be like. Of course, everybody lip synced the songs. And then he interviewed me just as he said he was going to. But there's no recording of this, no video of it.
Too bad. That's too
Yeah.
bad. Now, where did he do his show? Because I know he was originally from Philly, right?
Yeah, no, at this time it was in LA.
It was in LA. Okay.
Yeah.
I still remember him sitting in the audience with the kids and with his little microphone going back and forth. And what a gem of a guy, and quite the mogul too, from what I understand. So so that was your touch with celebrity. So So let's expand upon. So what's interesting, and I found other guys who do this, who they have longtime collaborations with lyricists. Do you write some of your own lyrics as well? Or do you stick to the music side of it?
Hotel Room. Well, I'll tell you. Should I talk about a Hotel Room?
Talk whatever you. Well, yeah, as long as you keep it PG, you can talk about Hotel Room. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Hotel Room. When I was working with John Miller and we were working on this country project, he introduced me to a guy named Rafe Van Hoy. RAFE VANHOY. And Rafe actually had his first hit at 19 with this song called What's Forever For. England, Dan and John Ford Coley recorded it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's a beautiful song. And I hooked up with Rafe. Now, what's funny is all the years I worked with Ernie Petito, we communicated by email, or I would drop a tape off when he lived in New York. We
Mhm.
never really sat down and hashed out a song together. So now I'm down in Nashville with Rafe Van Hoy, and we're going to try and come up with some songs. And I brought a bunch of ideas with me on my phone, I think they were. And Rafe had a ton of country hits. So it was funny. Rafe kind of reminded me of me. He loved
Okay.
he loved Indian food. He loved red wine, and married to a woman who was from Tasmania, of all
Wow.
places.
Okay.
And Rafe and I hit it off. It was one of those situations where you meet the guy, and after a day you feel like you've known him your whole life.
Yeah, that's
And
magic, right?
just a dynamite guy, knows everybody in Nashville because he had so many hit songs. And we sat and we wrote 2 songs together. Now, we worked out of Rafe's studio that was in his basement in his house in Nashville, but I was staying at a hotel, and he would come and pick me up every morning, and he'd drive me over to his house, and we'd work on songs. And I was sitting in the lobby of the hotel waiting for Rafe to show up, and this song lyric just popped into my head. It said, I imagined the guy in Nashville, and he's out, he's from out of town, and he's in Nashville, and he's having a great time dancing at a bar, at a honky tonk. He's dancing with everybody, doing the 2-step. And now it's closing time, and he doesn't want it to end. So these lyrics came into my head. It said, let's take this party to my hotel room. It's last call. This place is closing soon. The band is almost finished packing up. They're coming over just as soon as they're done. We'll dance naked. We'll howl at the moon. Let's take this party to my hotel room.
Oh, man.
So that while I'm waiting for Rafe, that whole chorus comes into my head.
Wow.
And when we get to his house, I said, listen, Rafe, we were going to work on another song, but let me just tell you this lyric that popped into my head. And we started working on that. And took a while, and Rafe actually did the rhythm track on that. There's actually, I think it's a really great drum machine on it, even though, or maybe it was redone by Steve Holly actually from Wings. And then Rafe played guitar, and we used the guitar track, and then we worked together on some of the melody and the verses, and he came up with a lot of lines of the verses, and we put the whole thing together and put it. Yeah.
Wow. It's a great, now that summer's finally upon us, it's a great party song for sure. Yeah. And but how'd you get introduced to Rafe? Was it just somebody else knew and said, hey, you guys should get together? I mean, how did that happen? How does that happen?
John Miller has a publishing company that my songs are signed to. And he had a contact down in Nashville, and somehow that whole thing got set up for the 2 of us. So I kind of spent the week down there. We had a great time, Rafe and I, and like I say, I felt like I knew him my whole life, even though I was with him for a week. Yeah,
that's neat. Nashville's a great place. We were in Nashville this past October. We went with a bunch of couples, had a blast. I mean, for those who haven't been there in a while, from 10 o'clock in the morning till the wee hours, you can find a bar that's 4 stories high with a rooftop bar with a different band on every one.
Right.
Who are not bashful when it comes to asking for tips, by the way. And
right.
I remember one group was like, it'll cost you $5 a request and $20 for us not to play certain songs.
Right.
But they're all doing it for tips. So they're working, God bless them. They're working their asses off. But, it was kind of like spring break, I'm an old man. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting worn out,
Yeah. Great musicians down there though. A lot of great musicians.
It was phenomenal. You can do a different version of this song. Take me to my hotel room. I want to go to bed. Or I better get to bed.
Yeah, right.
As an old friend, I think it was my dad or my uncle said, nothing good happens after 9 o'clock. Well, a lot of good things happen. So that's great. So you keep in. So the connection was the publishing company that introduced you guys, and then you found that's great when you I can't imagine being sitting with somebody that you find out not my type of person to try to write a song together.
Yeah, right.
I would
No,
think that would end pretty quick,
Yeah, I mean, we hit it off really well. We hit it off really well.
Nice. So that's part of your repertoire. I mean, do you sell the song? What what are your hopes with the song? I mean,
Well, right now I'm currently without a band. I as another guy you could talk to is Steve Ronson.
okay.
He has a band or had a band called Quick Draw. They got some great songs, and I'm trying to put something together with him now. I had a band together, and unfortunately, the guitar player passed away.
I'm sorry.
Not too long ago, and the band kind of folded after that. So I'm hoping I can work with Steve. If not,
Well, I got a guy for you.
yeah.
Do you know Mike Nugent?
Oh, Mike actually plays with Steve.
Mike plays with everybody, and
Yeah.
and I say that with because he's Mike's my guitar teacher. Although
Oh.
he wouldn't, if you listen to me play guitar, he would never admit that.
Right. Well, I know the name Mike Nugent through Bob Stander, and I saw him playing once at the Oyster Fest. I saw
Sure,
Mike
yeah.
Nugent, yeah. But our paths have never crossed. I mean,
He's a
I've
great.
never been
He's,
introduced to him.
well,
Yeah.
well, I'll be the bridge between the two of you guys because
Okay.
you're cut from the same cloth. You're very
Yeah.
very friendly, lovely people. So
Yeah.
it's funny because what you just said, we've never crossed paths. I find that with a couple of musicians. Yeah, I know him, but I'm out playing, he's out playing,
Yeah.
and never the twain shall meet. But
Yeah.
everybody knows everybody, so it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hey, let's do this. Let's just take another quick break, kind of
Mhm.
regroup mentally, and we'll be right back. Hang with
Sure.
us, everybody. We've got a lot more stories and a lot more songs. Are you a singer-songwriter who wants to take your music to the next level, and you need some professional musicians and really that expertise to help you along? Well, check out Melts in Your Ears Studio. It's Mike Nugent's studio. If you like what you've heard here today, Mike's the guy who can make the connections, put the tracks together, and give you a quality product. Check it out. Hey, everybody, we're back. Hey, Charlie, I'm interested, sure, of what you're going to be doing around the island, but let's reel it back to, that first song, Come and Get You Some.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. Tell me how that came about.
Yeah. So my friend Ernie Petito, who was writing lyrics with me for years, he told me he was watching a TV show and there was some country character who would close the show by saying the words, "Come and get you some." So Ernie wrote up the lyrics to Come and Get You Some. He wrote a lot of lyrics. And it was one of those things where when I got those lyrics, that song was written in like 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, it was done. I don't know why, but just the whole thing came together. And then I started recording it through John Miller at Bob Stander's Parcheesi Studios in South Huntington. And we had the song together, and it didn't have a bridge. And Bob and I kind of looked at each other and we kind of agreed it needed a bridge. And as I was driving home, now those were basically Ernie's lyrics, but as I was driving home from the studio, the lyrics to the bridge and the music to the bridge came into my head. And when I got home, I put it down on guitar, went back into the studio, and we punched the whole bridge in. And it's a song about summertime. Summer's back, Georgia down to Texas. Rich girls want to have a little fun. Suntan, driving daddy's Lexus. Tops down, come and get you some. So
that could be a Long Island song too.
yeah. So I think that's maybe the most commercial and catchiest tune of all of my tunes. But it's a lot of fun playing that, and like I said, it's one of those things that happen in 5 minutes.
What's amazing too is they say, at least when I'm in the car and I'm isolated, that's where certain muses come to me, and bands are touring on the road in the bus. That's a lot of their collaborative time that things come to them. Yeah. So it's funny you said it came to you in the car and went right back and
right.
What makes a musician and a singer-songwriter to me is they get hit with the muse and they act on it immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I've written 10,000 pieces of songs in my mind that will never get published because I never remember to write them down.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you, these iPhones. I used to have a little cassette player that I put an idea on, but now if I'm in the car and an idea comes into my head, I can put the phone on it and sing it into the phone.
I see. I do the same thing with prose. I'll just hit the record button and I'll say idea for a song, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And then I find people like you that I can pitch it to. That's the whole reason for this podcast.
I'm open for it. I'm open to anything.
I mean, why deal with the guy from LA? You got a local guy right here with the podcast that can help you out.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're doing around town, around the island.
Yeah, well, like I said, right now I don't have an original band together, but I'm hoping to do that. I'm hoping that happens soon. And I have like at least 25 kind of country Americana rock songs that we certainly could do. I have other stuff. I recorded with Richie Canada over in his studio, and so I'm hoping to get together with some musicians so that we can put something together. And like I said, build a following, play the originals, build a following, possibly open for people, and build a fan base through social media and by playing out. Not to become like big stars, but just to build a following so that we can always play.
Right. And I think that's the key now, because, you can put your music up on CD Baby and get it on Spotify. You're going to get, half a cent for every 100 people listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to play out. You got to do festivals, and you got to do it and make those connections. And with your persistence, I have no doubt you'll do very well. Yeah.
And just one quick thing about Rafe Van Hoy. I remember when I first met Rafe, he told me a story. He said his song, What's Forever For, got 500,000 plays on Spotify. Mm-hmm. He got a royalty check for $5.
Son of a bitch. I know.
So I got a lot of tunes. I got like a bunch of tunes up on YouTube. On May 6th, I'm releasing a single from a CD I did, and that song is called Get Gone. That's written completely by me. I wrote all the lyrics and the music, and I'm going to release that on the 6th to Spotify and all the other the media platforms. And I'll probably do a YouTube for it, but I do have a YouTube channel. It's the Charlie Kulis Band. I got a bunch of tunes up on there, and I'll be adding more tunes. So like I said, unfortunately, I don't have the band together right now to do the originals, but I do covers on just about every weekend. I play out in the vineyards. It's a duo. We're called the Atlantics, and it was my friend Tom, and he plays keys. We use a drum machine, and we do a bunch of covers. I play just about every week. We'll be at Pindar. We'll be at Jason's Vineyard. We play Puglisi a lot. And we'll also be at Osprey Dominion, Duck Walk, North, and just about every weekend. So if you look at the websites for the different vineyards, you'll see the Atlantics. And
and we're by the way, on gigdestiny.com. I'm happy to share any of your events up on the website, and I'll show you how you can get that up there on your own. So
right.
Anything spread word. Now I see your modus operandi, Charlie, because you said you did like red wine, and now I get it. now you're a Puglisi. Okay, it's not about the music, it's about the red wine.
Yeah. Actually, I've cut back on the wine, man. I've cut back on the wine.
Yeah, because those last songs after a few wines can be kind of hanky.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this last song that which we spoke about a little bit earlier, where it all kind of came to you, the hotel room song. So
well, like I said, I was the whole lyric, the lyric for the chorus came to me as I was sitting waiting for Rafe to pick me up, and then we went down and hashed out a whole bunch of lyrics, and there were several ideas I had musically. After I left Nashville, I kind of finished a lot of the music up here, and had a whole bunch of ideas for choruses for those lyrics. And finally, I decided on what you got on that recording.
All right, so let's take a listen to Let's Take This Party to My Hotel Room. Have a listen. We'll be right back.
Flew into Nashville as the sun went down. I made a beeline for the bars downtown. First girl I met was Southern Comfort Suite. Turns out her cousin grew up on my street. Next thing I know, it's almost 3 a.m. Everybody's partying like they is old friends. 100 crazy people dancing the two-step. We're having too much fun to shut it down yet. So let's take this party to my hotel room. It's last call, this place is closing soon. The band is almost finished packing up. They're coming over just as soon as they're done. We'll dance naked, we'll howl at the moon. Let's take this party to my hotel room. Let's take this party to my hotel room. We'll sneak past the lobby so no one knows we're here. If they call the cops, I just don't care. We might regret it tomorrow afternoon. Jumping off the balcony into the pool. Hey, let's take this party to my hotel room. It's last call, this place is closing soon. The band is almost finished packing up. They're coming over just as soon as they're done. We'll dance naked, we'll howl at the moon. Let's take this party to my hotel room. Let's take this party to my hotel room. All these rabble rousers dance until the sun comes up. Drinking high-test whiskey from the plastic hotel cups. Let's take this party to my hotel room. It's last call, this place is closing soon. We'll dance naked, we'll howl at the moon. Jumping off the balcony into the pool. Hey, we'll dance naked, we'll howl at the moon. Let's take this party to my hotel room. Let's take this party to my hotel room. We'll dance naked, we'll howl at the moon. Let's take this party to my hotel room. Let's take this party to my hotel room.
Hey, everybody, we are back. And I tell you, after listening to that song, one, that's something I'd have to sing to my wife, okay, only. But I'm telling you, that just makes me ready for, things are starting to warm up. The days are getting warmer. Summer's getting upon us. And if there's something that'll inspire you, it's the songs that we heard today, Charlie. So thanks for bringing them all to the table. It's really, really, really cool. Who would know?
Thanks for having me here, and thanks for playing the songs. And it's been great.
Thanks. And I end my podcast this way, and I mean this truly. We can always account for what's in our bank accounts and what we own. Can never account for how much time we have left. So,
Right.
Charlie, when you give me this time, an hour of your time or more, I really appreciate it. So,
Good.
thanks, and I hope to have you back. And,
Sure.
And you were a great guest. I really appreciate it, brother. So,
Yeah.
be well. Peace.
Right. You too. Thanks a lot. Thanks again.
Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate the time you spent with us. Please subscribe and comment and visit us at gigdestiny.com. Till next time, be generous with your joy, keep your spirits high, and let the music take you on a journey. Be well. Peace.